Welcome to the Consistency Theory Podcast, a podcast about how taking one step out of the place you feel most comfortable can catapult you to places you did not even know you could get to. We are all living in an information abundant era, so it can be hard to know what to pursue for the better. High school, travelling, uni, apprenticeships, working offers so many different opportunities. How can you possibly know exactly what is for you? We discuss ideas with those who have first-hand experience of doing just that, so you can get first-hand perspective of how you can implement their secrets to your own life.
Our guest today is Lawrence, a 21-year-old international university student who has amassed a large following on TikTok and with self-improvement and productivity tips. We talk about some very interesting topics such as if university is important anymore, productivity and self-improvement for young people, how someone can improve in their 20s, as well as lessons he has learned from putting himself out there online. Before we start this chat, however, if you have learned anything from the podcast, make sure to follow and leave a review on Apple Podcasts. It really helps immensely.
Cool. Okay, we'll get going. Okay, Lawrence, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Glad to be on the podcast.
Yeah, cheers for coming on, mate. So, could you just give us like a quick overview of who you are and what you do, just for the people who don't know?
So my name's Lawrence. I'm 21 years old. I'm predominantly known for my TikTok channel, in which I do lots of videos on productivity and self-improvement. But I'm also a student at Amsterdam University College. I study data science. And I'm also founding a business with a couple of people I know. So yeah.
Oh, brilliant. I think a majority of people would know you from your TikTok account. Why did you end up starting the TikTok account?
I mean, in the beginning, it was mainly because I felt like I had a lot of things to say. Like, I read a lot of books. I feel like I've learned a lot of things from my experiences over the years. And I felt like I needed a place to say that, and that for people to listen to what I had to say. And it was really nice because, like, I didn't think that people were gonna, respond in the way they did. And so, like, for me, it was more just an outlet. It was just to, like, splurge out all these ideas, all these things that I thought, but, like, I just wanted to document them. And then when people started following me and it started kicking off, it was just really nice because it was like, this is me literally being me, just unfiltered, and people are actually responding to that in a positive way. So for me, that was, that was so cool.
No, it's brilliant.
So,
it's probably the best kind of content when you're just being you, when you can just talk about anything and people respond to that as well.
yeah, exactly.
Did you what kind of life skills and stuff do you think you've kind of learned from putting yourself out there over on TikTok? I'm not sure what else you put yourself out on, but assuming TikTok, what kind of skills do you think you've learned from that?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I think, the main thing it teaches you is to just kind of like not care as much about what people are thinking, because obviously, like, especially as a young person, you have this stigma from all the people you know from university, from school, from wherever. And so you're kind of, I don't know, you do feel a bit like intimidated in putting yourself out there. But once you kind of get over that kind of embarrassment, like I always say, like, embarrassment is one of the things that holds you back in life. And so once you can get past that, it's like much nicer. But honestly, like, so much, like, you learn how to captivate people's attention. I mean, you have such a small amount of time to say as much as possible. And if you don't say it quick enough, then people are like, they're already gone in like 2 seconds. So you learn that, you learn about consistency, you learn about what people want and what people want to hear. Yeah, I don't know. Like, there's so much you could say, but it depends on the person, Like, it depends on what kind of TikToks you're making.
Did you find it quite difficult? Because you talked about the attention thing when you first started. Did you feel it was quite difficult to be super concise and like super straight to the point? Is that something you developed over time?
Yeah. Well, they have this interesting feature where, like, you can see how long the average viewer looks at your video. And so, like, when I started looking at that, and I used to make like 30-second videos on TikTok, which in like the TikTok world is like a big no. And so I'd see that, and I see they tune off after about 8 seconds.
Wow.
So after that, I was like, oh crap. So, like, now I need to like change it up a bit. So from then on, like I try and cap mostly at like 10, 12 seconds, but it's also about, it's like how you capture their attention. There's a lot of like behavioral psychology behind it. Like you need to kind of address them. You need to say like what is their pain point. It's just like marketing, but it's just for yourself basically, you know? But yeah, no, it's a lot of stuff you have to do.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. How long have you been doing that now, roughly?
Started in like February time, and then February to March, like probably had like a couple of hundred followers, and then mid-March, you know, I had one video that blew up, and then like over the span of 24 hours, I gained about 10,000 followers, which is absolutely mad.
Crazy.
And it was really nice because at the time I was leaving a job in marketing as well. And so I literally handed in my resignation, and then like a couple of days later I hit the 10,000 mark, and then it was crazy because then like already people started reaching out to me with like possible collaborations and like partnerships and things like that. So like it was like literally like couldn't have been more perfect timing, you know.
It's crazy how insane the opportunities you can get from literally putting yourself out there, even on TikTok and doing the videos and stuff. Like you said about the partnerships you can gather from that. It's almost like a build it and they will come kind of scenario, which is really good. I mean, it's kind of it's how I reached out to you via TikTok. I saw your TikToks, and then now we're here talking about it. It's insane.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, cool. So your TikTok is kind of not just one particular thing. So you've got productivity, you've got self-help, you've got all those kind of things. What personally for you is the most exciting thing for you right now?
It's a good question, because the thing is it shifts as well, because like, you know, it's constantly like what is the new thing that I'm excited about. At the minute I would say more self-improvement, because honestly, like I find it so fulfilling when you help someone and then it like you can see the results in like the other person. And honestly, I have so many like, I don't know, almost like pet peeves about like how we've been taught to do things. And I think it's so much of it is just bullshit. And so, yeah, definitely like the self-help stuff, like self-improvement and like making yourself better and anything to do with that. And I've read a lot of books around it, and I feel like there's a lot of things that I do which work. And so like just, yeah, like sharing that with other people, you know, like I wouldn't, it's just, I feel like on TikTok, like that's the way you can do it, you know, like you have a big audience, you just share it, people listen, that's it. Like
it's awesome. It really is cool. So we're saying like kind of it shifts a little bit. You were saying since you've got all these kind of different topics and stuff, from the outside it might look like you're doing, well, it does look like you're doing a lot of things. Like, have you ever experienced kind of like a burnout kind of thing, or do you think you've come close to kind of, you've got loads of stuff coming around in your head, loads of stuff you're doing? Have you ever just kind of thought, I might need to slow it down at one point, or are you able to handle kind of loads of things going on at the same time?
Yeah, well, I mean, with the TikTok, it was nice because like at the start, I was just kind of going off the cuff, and it was just like anything in my mind, I was just like getting it out there. But now that I've kind of slowed down the pace, like it is becoming harder to find things. And so you are right in that like there's like all these different aspects, but mainly I think the thing I've noticed is that like the other aspects of my life, you know, like when it was university, like doing TikTok, like I was doing a bunch of random things, like meeting my friends, like starting this business, like when everything is happening at once, like I think got to the point where I'm not like burning out, but I'm struggling to do all of them things really well. And I can see it across like everything, you know, it's like if I spend like loads of time like on this business, then it's like I don't have as much time to spend on my friends, I don't post as many TikToks as I should, you know, and I feel like I kind of had to cut down recently. And that's why at the minute for me it's just spend my time on TikTok and spend time like developing like the business that I'm working on, and it's just them two things. And I'll see my friends occasionally, but like over the summer, like that's my goal, to just focus on them two things, because it is important that like you can't do everything, like, and if you want to do things great, then you can't expect to do like many things. Like the better you want things to be, the less things you have to focus on. So it's definitely the case. Yeah.
Is that something you've managed to develop over time, or have you always been good at kind of prioritizing what's important to you, or is that something you've had to consciously work on over time?
Definitely something I've had to work on over time, because like the way my brain works is I have like all these good ideas, like all these like crazy things going on, and I'll quickly sporadically go from like this to this to this to this. Like I've had so many stupid business ideas. Like I used to run
Yeah,
like
I'm the same.
a pancake shop in my room. I used to sell like secondhand clothes. Like I
Yeah.
used to do photography. Like all of these things have just kind of come and gone. But like, yeah, definitely over time I've learned that like you do have to spend more and more time on one thing if you want to see the results, because especially like initial bit, you're not, like what's the
It's
word?
almost kind of like you're skimming over the surface. You're not delving deep into to develop it.
Exactly that. Exactly
Yeah.
that.
So I think that's kind of because I feel the same to an extent. It's as soon as TikTok and stuff's come around, I'm being exposed to all these new kind of, for example, like side hustles and stuff, and thinking, oh, that would be awesome. I mean, literally last night I was just on YouTube, and now after 10 minutes I realised I want to buy a drone now and do photography and stuff like that. It's like I'd never thought about that before, but yeah, it's cool. And speaking of TikTok, in the past year or so, there's been a lot of a push on stocks and in particular crypto. With everyone and their dog kind of in a minute being involved in crypto in one way or another. How involved are you in crypto? Like, how is that something that really interests you?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say I'm pretty deep. The thing is, I think I'm definitely like no expert, and a lot of people on TikTok kind of sell themselves as like these experts. But the thing to remember is that like we had this massive kind of push over the last like 6 to 9 months. And so basically like your grandma, I swear, could make like, 100% return, like if you put money in.
Yeah.
So, like everyone is like, I don't know, everyone is new, but everyone is thinking that they're doing really well. But until you can see in the long run, like you don't really know. But it's interesting you say about like on TikTok especially, because there are a lot of like crap advice on crypto, but there's also surprisingly some good stuff as well.
Yeah.
Like for me, for instance, I came across this thing called Helium on TikTok, and it's like a cryptocurrency where like you basically become like a mobile like 4G mast, but for other people. And so like I saw it, and like basically like you buy like a crypto miner, and then I see people are making like hundreds to thousands of dollars, and all they do is they just plug it into their Wi-Fi router, and like that's it.
Yeah, it's insane.
And so I ended up buying one of them, and literally in like within the first 3 days, it made me like over $1,000,
Seriously, wow.
which was crazy. And so yeah, like there's definitely good things on TikTok for crypto, but there's a lot of crap.
Yeah.
And so you just kind of have to use your intuition. You have to actually do the research, because like I wouldn't take anything anyone says as face value, like just in general, in anything anyway.
Yeah, of course.
I mean,
Right, if we yeah, sorry mate, what are you
do
saying?
you delve into that kind of stuff as well?
Yes, I do. I'm very kind of I'm not like a guy who's searching out all these random like small cap coins and stuff like that. I'm more I know myself, my risk tolerance isn't extremely high, but it's kind of in the middle. So I'm just exploring with all these kind of things. Like I was just about to pause you there on the helium thing. Because I got my dad into it as well. He's got a Coinbase account as well. Obviously, use a referral code. We were literally talking about this on the way home from my university, the helium miner things, because he actually brought it up.
Oh, really?
And I was looking at the prices and stuff. How much did you pay for yours?
That's crazy, man. So I ended up paying, I think like $450, maybe 450 to 500. But like, I mean, you could probably see it's like everyone wants to jump on this now. So I ordered mine. I saw it on TikTok back in like December, and I ordered mine in January, and then it literally arrived like 3 weeks ago. So it took almost 6 months for it to actually like to get to me, because it's like they're so in demand. So like if you order one now, like expect it to be here in like 6 to 8 months, I swear.
Do you think that's because again, we were fully discussing this and we didn't actually know if it worked properly. But do you see that as a sustainable crypto in the future, do you think, or a sustainable method of earning crypto in particular Helium?
Yeah, no, I definitely think so. Because I mean, this is the thing, is that you don't want, like, any kind of crypto investment you make, you don't really want it to be an active investment. You want it to be very passive. And so this is great because it sits in the corner of like my room. And like I said, I connect it to my Wi-Fi. I go out, I do my things, I go on holiday, whatever. Like, I just have the app on my phone and I can see how much money I'm earning while I'm essentially doing nothing.
That's amazing.
And I mean, if you had like 4 or 5 streams of like income that you could definitely do passively through crypto, I mean, that's like the goal, isn't it? Because it doesn't interrupt the things that I'm doing. Like, I can work on my TikTok account, like I can work on other things, and with that still running in the background, it gives me the financial freedom to then go off and do other things that I want.
Yeah, it's the whole world of crypto and stuff right now, and just all stuff like that is crazy. There's so many projects and stuff going on, and it's hard to choose kind of which ones are genuine and legit, because obviously we haven't seen them before, so everyone's kind of thinking, is this real, does this actually work? But I can assure you quite a few of them do actually work, and they are really exciting. Would you say the Helium one is one of your favorite kind of blockchain crypto project right now? Have you got a few others in the mix?
Yeah, I mean, definitely one of my favorites. I like any crypto which is trying to take out the middleman in business and just like kind of connect. I mean, the whole point of crypto, like, you're trying to connect people directly with the source and just cutting out this whole like middle faff of whether that's a bank. Like for Helium, it's like cutting out phone providers like Vodafone and EE and things like that. Like, to me, that's what excites me. So like Helium would be one of them. I mean, if you're looking at some of the bigger ones, definitely like Cardano. I love like the things that they're doing, especially in like Africa. Like they just secured a contract with like the Ethiopian government, which is like super exciting stuff. Wow. I love ones like DAI, which is like a decentralized version of like the Tether coin. What, sorry?
I use DAI as well.
Yeah, nice.
Good.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what else I mean, Solana. Yeah.
Have you looked into, I'm sure you have you how deep are you in like the NFT kind of space?
Not massively, because I think by the time I was like fully getting like involved in crypto, the NFT phase was kind of at its peak. So I felt like if I like jumped into it now, like I probably wouldn't be, I'd be like a lagging behind everybody. So I think more I focus on like the smart contracts and like the decentralized finance and things like that. But I mean, I've seen it's gone crazy. Like, I haven't bought any NFTs myself, but like the use of it is like insane.
Yeah, of course. I think for me, it's more the use case of it. Like, for example, one that I can think of is, obviously I'm sure you follow Gary Vee as well. His NFT project in particular, the cards that give you access to his events and stuff, that is a really interesting thing. As well for creators as well, if they mint their NFT and then they sell it to someone, then they sell it on, they get a kickback as well. And that's really interesting too.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, you see them do it with like football teams at the minute. You see like the crypto chilies, and like they work with like AC Milan, like Barcelona FC, and like they're doing that same thing that Gary Vee's doing, but like with their fans as well. And it's like it's taking the power like straight to them. Like they don't have to go to any third party to get that. But which is also the same reason it's nice for people like Gary Vee and like individual creators, because you don't need like someone else to kind of like be this middleman in order for you to make your money. You don't have to get paid by YouTube or whatever. You just get paid directly.
Yeah, it's brilliant. There's obviously so many things going on. How would you personally decide if a like a crypto pursuit or a miner or a project is worth pursuing? Do you have kind of like steps in your head, or do you just kind of know there and then?
I mean, the thing is like what I've learned over time, and like not just in crypto, is like you really do have to take risks if you want to start seeing some rewards. Like, and so like the way I judge it is like one, like is it something that I can like absorb the risk of? Like, is this, if this fails, like, is this going to backfire massively? Is this going to hurt my own personal life? Like, obviously, like, I do my research into it. And then, I mean, I don't know. I try, like, it sounds bad, but like, I don't overthink it. I don't overanalyze it, because as soon as you do that, you kind of like, you already miss it. And I think it's more of a mindset thing of just like, you're always looking for opportunities. Whether that's crypto or otherwise, like, and that was the same thing with the helium. I saw it, like, I had the money to spare. If I lost that money, that sucks, but like, I had so much more to gain from it. Like the risk to reward ratio, in my head, I thought it was going to play out. I looked into it. It was great. So I bought it. Like, but it's that, like, sometimes, if I deliberated on that too long, like I would have, let's say I ordered it 2 months later, I probably still wouldn't have had it. And the market is probably going to slowly become more and more flooded and saturated. And so I wouldn't have made the money that I already made from it if I had deliberated too long. Like, I had to just, like, do it straight away.
Yeah, you had to just jump. I feel like since we're both kind of young, I'm sure loads of people in crypto right now are kind of young, we can kind of, to an extent, as long as you're not putting in like your life savings or someone else's life savings, we can kind of, if something goes sour, we can kind of take that on the chin and we can move forward from it. So someone later on who has kids and mortgage and stuff, they don't have that to do. So you see loads of people putting stuff into crypto which might be really risky, but obviously, as you said before, the risk reward ratio is a lot of the time skewed to the potential upside of it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I guess like one of the things I look at is like, like, how much is this going to change my life if I try this? And like I said, I look at the downside, I go, is this going to force me to leave university? No. Is this going to make me homeless? No. Like, am I still going to be able to survive? Yes. So it's like, if if that's the case, I have like all of this safety, but like, then the reward is like, oh, is this going to be allowed me to, not have to work 24/7 and like make a passive income? Like, or for me, I'm thinking like, the money I earn from helium, like in 5-10 years time, that's going to be a deposit on a house. So like the possible upside is so much nicer than the downside. And honestly, like I'm feeling pretty bulletproof, like I can take like all of these hits, and like I only need a couple to go through. Like many of my ventures like failed like miserably, but you only need a couple of things to work out in order for you to get to like the next level, of your life, of everything, of your career, whatever.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's, as well with stuff being so early in this kind of space, kind of getting in early and stuff and waiting for stuff to maybe 10x in a few years' time is probably a good tactic too. But as well, a lot of people want the short-term gains, which is fair enough, but it's kind of knowing in yourself, am I in this for the short term, am I in this for the long term, and just kind of deciding from there. You need to kind of know how risky you want to go, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, like, I would definitely say it's a mindset thing, because it's like the people who are going for like the short-term reward, and you see them like investing in stuff like Dogecoin, and it's the same with like GameStop and things like that. Like, they're not people who are like patient enough to like reap the rewards. They just want a quick fix. And I was the same. Like, I used to do a lot of like sports betting when I was like 18, 19, and because it was like quick money, but like you have to like mold yourself to actually like seek out like a longer term solution. And it's the same with that. It's like, you're just gonna, like, even if you like make money from Dogecoin, it's like, what did you do with that money? You're then looking for the next risky thing to put that money in, and like one of these steps along the way is going to crumble, and then you just back at square one. So it's like, why even try? You have to have a longer like term mindset, like you're saying.
Yeah, of course. I think again, it comes down to the risk tolerance thing, and what you do with that money. Like, you don't just want the boom short term fix and everything. You want to kind of, is this going to enable me to do something else, something bigger, something better, and just kind of compound the things above that. But again, yeah, crypto's super interesting. I'm sure we could talk about that for a long time.
Dave.
But yeah, of course. So, right, we'll kind of move on a little bit. I've got one or two more questions on this, but if hypothetically you have a crypto investment, a brand new coin, and in a week or so it like 100x's, you have a lot of money, you have enough to survive on, you've got everything kind of sorted. So if your money needs were taken care of, so if money was not really a factor you had to worry about, what do you think you'd be doing right now?
Good question. I think I'd like to think that most of the things I'm doing now, like, I'm doing regardless. I feel like I'm not, I'm not like a millionaire, but financially, like, TikTok and my other things have allowed me to, like, see that kind of like path like a lot more clearer. Like, so for instance, I'm taking a semester of university just to try and figure out my own stuff. I would definitely resume, like continue with the TikTok. I don't know. I like impacting lots of people. Like my dream would be like, being in front of just as big an audience as possible and just like helping them. Like, and I feel like I'm kind of already on that path. So like, the only other thing I could see that I could do if I had more money is just to travel the world and do that at the same time. But I feel pretty content in what I'm doing. And I don't think I'd change that too much.
That's good. That's good. That's I'm sure that's a goal for, say, if you're 30, you kind of have no regrets looking back at your 20s and stuff. As cliche as it is, now's the kind of time to take those risks, to kind of put yourself out there to do that stuff.
Yeah.
Because again, regret is probably the worst thing you can experience in the future.
Honestly, yeah. Like I don't even see the point in like some of these, like, I don't know, like for me, for instance, like I started my degree and I was thinking like, like this is interesting, like this is what I'd like to do. And then it's like I get further down the line and now I'm re-evaluating that. And I'm, like whatever I think is going to be like the thing I'm going to enjoy the most, thing I'm going to find the most fulfilling, that's what I'm going to put all of my time into. Like I don't have any problem in like dropping out of university or like moving to another country, because like at the end of the day, like why are you not pursuing the thing that makes you fulfilling? And I think you see that a lot in university students, is that they're following a degree or a path which is not the one that they actually want to do. Like I have friends who are, like they're so amazing at making music, yet they would prioritize finishing, their coursework over releasing an album, which to me in my head it's like, but then you're never going to reach that thing that you want to reach. You're like literally putting your time in something else, so don't expect to get to this other place, like,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've got a whole section of questions and stuff on the university here, so I'm sure we could delve deep into that. But we'll just have I've just got a section here, just a nice quick fire question. I've just got 5 questions here, just kind of like a this or that kind of thing. So I'll say 2 options, and you pick one of those.
No.
So number 1, would you rather listen to a podcast or an audiobook?
Audiobook.
Oh. Nice. Would you rather invest in stocks or crypto? Working your dream job until 60 or retiring at 40?
Working dream job.
TikTok or YouTube? TikTok. And then last one, hyper specialised in one skill or moderately specialised in multiple unrelated skills?
The second one, the moderate in many skills. I mean, that would be what would be more fulfilling.
Of course. Okay, so we'll dive into university now. So you kind of mentioned a little bit about your opinion of university, but say someone's deciding whether to go to university or to pursue another path, for example, an apprenticeship, travelling the world, or starting a social media presence or something like that. What is your kind of opinion on university as a whole?
Honestly, like I think I think in terms of the education you get, it's not great unless you want to be a doctor or something. I think in terms of the
Hmm.
experience and the opportunities you get, I think it is a good thing. So it's like it's what you make of it, you know. Like I would never be making the money that I'm making now if I hadn't have gone to Amsterdam and go to the university and had this experience, you know, have young people around me, like keeping me like energized. But at the same time, from my
Hmm.
actual degree, I feel like I've learned nothing or almost nothing that I'm actually going to use in the real world. And so I think there's an
Hmm.
important decision that people need to make, and that's on whether or not the thing that they're doing is actually going to get them to the place where they want to be. Like, and the easiest way to do that is to look at the people who are where you want to be and see what they're doing. Like, are they going to
Hmm.
university? Like, if you want to be a lawyer, like, are they going to university? Yes. If you want to, you know, like travel the world, are they going to university? No. If you want to work remotely and not have a 9 to 5, are they going to university? A lot of them aren't. Like, if you want to start your own business, do they get? So it's like you just got to look at that and see like what it is that they're doing, you know?
Hmm. And again, it's kind of the opportunity cost as well, which is kind of the cost of what paths you take. So, for example, you go to university for 3 years.
Mm,
On the flip side, what else could you be doing in those 3 years?
mm,
Like, for example, I know it's not that easy, but you could be setting up a business, you could be setting up a TikTok account, social media presence, you could be traveling to all these places. It's hard for people to decide because obviously you haven't experienced that before, and it's just about tasting
yeah,
all these different things and then kind of deciding which one you want to pursue.
exactly. Like I think it was. I'm glad that I took 2 years off before I started
Hmm.
university. Because I definitely needed to like to taste like all these other different things. Um, and now that I've been to university, like I like the position I'm in terms of I have great accommodation, I have a amazing space, amazing friends who like keep me motivated. Um, and so university for me it provides me a way of doing the other things that I like. So as long as you're in control of what you're doing, you know, like I think if you're just
Hmm.
doing your degree, it's not towards something that you like the place where you want to go, and you're also not making the most out of it, like in whatever way that is. Like for me, it's just like it's allowing me to be in Amsterdam, you know, like after Brexit, like if I wanted to live here, I'm much more complicated if I'm not at university. So like it's given me
Yeah.
that opportunity. So as long as you're taking the opportunities, you know, like it's okay. But I think most people are just kind of in the passenger seat of like, and they're letting their degree like take them for a ride, you know. And at the end of it, they're not gonna
Hmm.
be in the location they want to be. So yeah.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's obviously a very difficult thing to know. You can plan for it to an extent and calculate it to an extent, but you won't
Mm.
know until you actually go out and just kind of taste it and realize. Like for example,
Yeah.
I went to university and I started doing a business course,
Mm.
a random course. I did that for a year and realized I don't like this like at all.
Mm.
So I decided to take a step back again and then restart another course now, which I'm going into the third year next year, which I like much more.
Mm.
And it's all these societal expectations and stuff, and it's just a hard thing to do,
Yeah.
and you don't know till you try, essentially.
Like on that same point, like university is for some people, like 100% is for some people. Like some people like absolutely thrive. But at the minute, at least in the UK, 50% of people are going to university. The amount
Hmm.
of people that should be going to university and would actually benefit, and the amount of people that are going is like there's such a great disproportion there. It's probably like, 10, 15% of people would really benefit from university, whereas 50% of people are
Hmm.
kind of being like pushed into it almost.
Yeah.
Um, and so, yeah, I would just like to see young people feeling like they don't have any societal expectations for not going to university, and that would be nice. And for me, like if I do end up dropping out, like not having that stigma around dropping out or that university makes you better than someone else.
Mm.
Because then it's like people have a freedom of choice. They can choose to go, they can choose not to go. But at the minute, I feel people are kind of being conditioned to go, and I want to get rid of that.
Yeah, I think that's been the kind of norm for so many years now. And it's
Mm,
just kind of in the past few years, it's just kind of hearing the little whispers and stuff about, is this really worth it, and the stuff we were talking about there. And I think in a few years' time, numbers might start coming down when people realise there is a path outside of university, or there are more paths outside of university.
Yeah.
But it's just going to take time, really.
Definitely.
But and as well, this is something that you have mentioned on your TikTok before as well. One thing you mentioned as well was kind of like doing the opposite of your degree and kind of learning different skills. Could you kind of expound on that a little bit further, maybe some examples and stuff that you do?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm just trying to get people to challenge the perspective that they know. Because everybody is, like me, like everyone is inside, like, a very narrow path. And so, like, seeing the things on the other side would help a lot. I'm trying to think of examples. Okay, so I mean, like, I'm at university, but I've also tried, like, I've tried like the job market. Like, before I came to university, I'd been working in marketing for a year. I've been traveling, like, but also if you think about like the kind of people as well, like doing different things, like looking at people who have started their own businesses and people who are kind of, it's hard to articulate, but wait, give me a minute.
It's kind of tasting other things and kind of seeing what other people are doing and just kind of learning from them, I guess. And as well, there's loads of, you're starting to see more, like for example Coursera, which is like an online course website where you can pick and choose courses you want, sometimes for free, sometimes you pay. And they're sometimes real world certificates. Like for example, there's one from Google that I've seen a few success stories about, like they've had this certificate and people have reached out to them because they have the certificate, and they didn't have that. People reaching out to them just because they got this university degree that most other people have. They got something different, and they've kind of taken their intuition to go and try that thing.
I mean,
it's good.
Yeah, like honestly, like I swear I could probably learn the best part of my university degree from LinkedIn Learning, Coursera, and edX, and do it in a third of the time. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting path. COVID's given everybody like an interesting path to take with like online learning, online working, online everything. So
yeah, for example, online everything. I'm completely honest. It's just because obviously university is just this concrete thing. It's nailed on. You go to university, you get a degree. Hopefully you get a high paying job that someone that didn't go to university. But a lot of the time that isn't reality. And I think people are getting saturated with degrees. Like a lot of the time, everyone's going to have a degree now. So it's what you can do to make yourself different. Like quite a few years ago, a degree did equal a high paying job and high stuff like that. But
it's not like an automatic ticket anymore. You have to really work for it, and it's like, and I swear, oftentimes, if you had 3 years of work experience, that would trump a degree in most fields now. So then it makes you question, like really, like what is it?
Yeah, exactly. So it seems like we're riffing on university a little bit. If people are listening, which we are, if people are listening to this and they're kind of deciding whether they actually want to go to university or not go to university, what personally made up your mind to go to university?
For me, it was a new chapter in my life. I knew that I didn't want to stay in the UK, and so I was thinking like what would be the best ways to move around. And then I was looking at like the universities in the Netherlands that like absolutely amazing, and they're super cheap as well. And so I was like, great, all the courses are in English, I'll go here. But I went in with the mindset that like, it's like another risk. It's another opportunity. Like this might not work out. This might backfire. After 2 months, I might leave and hate it. But like, I'm gonna throw myself out there and then see what happens after that. And so that's what I did. I threw myself out there. Literally, like, the best decision I've ever made. Like, so many things that have happened in my life have happened because I've come here. So yeah, so like, I mean, even though we're ripping into university, like it's changed my life, and again for so many other people. And like I said, it's given me the environment I needed. It gave me the support I needed to like really push through any ceilings I had. So like, it was great.
Yeah, you wouldn't know until you try. In reality, what's the worst thing that's going to happen at the end of that? You might decide this is not for me. And in reality, it's cost you a little bit, which you will eventually get over in a couple of months or so.
Yeah.
But then you don't want the regret of saying, I didn't actually go and try that.
Yeah.
That's a lot worse.
I think that's important though. Like going in, like, you try something, but if it doesn't work, like holding your hands up and being like, okay, it's not for me. Like if it's not working for you, like no point sticking around for too long. Like start university. If it's for you, keep doing it. If it's not for you, like just stop. Like there's no harm either way.
Which is what I'm sure a lot of universities and people are quite scared of now because of COVID. The last year for people who've just joined university is probably going to be quite a scary one when people realise when you go to lectures and stuff and the different workloads to what it would be instead of working at home. And all that kind of stuff. Hopefully stuff opens up and hopefully it's not a whole online year again, because I'm sure loads of people can do without that again.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure. So again, we're talking about university and kind of young people and stuff. What do you think that the youth, maybe our age and a little bit younger, what do you think they should be doing more of today?
I mean, probably what I said before, trying the opposite, trying new things, doing things without regret, and doing things that other people aren't doing. Like, it sounds bad, but like listening to your parents less. That was one thing I had to learn, which is that your parents are who they are, and if you want to be your parents, like follow their advice. But if I'm honest, like I don't want to have the same lifestyle as my parents, so don't take your parents' advice like they're some higher, like super successful, beings. Like spend more time like watching and taking advice from the people who are where you want to be, rather than the people around you who are going where you don't want to be. That's what I'd say to young people.
I agree, and it's like, obviously, it's hard not listening to your parents. They've been with you like the majority of your life, but I suppose it's kind of an ideal thing to kind of pick and choose little things. Like for example, one of your parents might have like a really, really high work ethic, but they might have a downside, so you just kind of pick up on why their work ethic is really good and kind of implement that to your own life. And then maybe some other bits that they have downsides on, you find someone else who maybe has an ideal lifestyle or an ideal area that you want to learn from. Just pick and choose like that.
Yeah. No, exactly. Like, just like it's the same with everyone. Like you take the best bits that they can give you, but you don't take it as like gospel, like it's the final word. And like with me and like, as growing up, I was never very like financially secure. And so like, then for me, it didn't seem like it made any sense, like taking financial advice or like career advice from my parents when, they don't necessarily have that aspect of their life. But also like, completely slipped my mind. Doesn't matter.
That's okay, mate.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
But yeah, it's choosing and picking and kind of choosing your role models. Well, we obviously live in an age where YouTube's available and role models are like on demand, like that. You can just watch whatever you want over there and just kind of pick and choose things, try out new things, and you don't know until you actually try it.
Yeah.
No matter what the risk is. Obviously, risk to your life. You don't go that way, but just risk in general. Risk in general is a good thing to practice. So Anyway, a lot of the stuff you put out is about productivity and self-improvement. What does being productive personally mean for you?
Being productive is staying motivated for what you want to do, and it's like, I don't know, it's upholding like what you want to achieve, because it's also okay, wait, I'm gonna start that again.
That's okay, mate.
Being productive is just, to me, it's like managing your time in the most efficient way for you to do the things that you want to do. So for instance, like, even though I've been at university this year, and like COVID has been an absolute ball ache in terms of, the normal education that I should be getting, it's also allowed me to have much better time management. I think for me, like, for instance, I've been spending, only a couple of hours a week, like max, on my university degree, but still getting like a high result. And I think that's what it is. It's like working smart, not hard. And so productivity is like the most efficient way to get the job done. Because I think a lot of people would just throw in hours into whatever it is. They think like, whether it's a business or like university or whatever, they're like, oh, I'm just going to put all this time, I'm going to put all this time, I'm going to put all this time.
Yeah, it's kind of like hours do not always equal the same amount of success.
Yeah.
It's obviously being as effective as you can do. Is that something that you maybe learned along the way from reading books, business books and stuff? How important would you say kind of books and stuff are for you, learning from other people?
Massively. I would argue that if there was one thing that changed my whole life, it was when I started reading books. Like, when I started reading kind of non-fiction, improvement business books, like, because to me, like, the way I see it is, there's someone who is like an expert in the field, they've got like, say, a super successful business, they've been through like all of these mistakes and learned from them and come out the other side, and they're like 50 years old and they had 30 years doing what they do, and now they do it amazing. They've just put 30 years into like 300 pages. It's so, like, to me, it's like, I swear, like, every time I read a book, it's like I've gained like 20 or 30 years of like knowledge, and then that's shit that I don't have to do. So like that's always been my go-to now. Like, whenever there's something that I'm not familiar with, like, I just go straight to an expert. I read, a book, and it doesn't even have to be the whole book. Like, honestly, the first half of a book pretty much tells you everything. But just exposing yourself to that like condensed knowledge, there's something about books that you can't quite get in like YouTube videos. Like, if someone takes 3 years to write a book and then they just make a YouTube video like weekly and they're just trying to find topics to talk about, it's like, I don't know, it's very different. Like, what about you? Do you do much reading?
Yeah. No, well, I started about 2 years ago. What was my first book? My first book was Shoe Dog by the founder of Nike.
No.
Also got it on audiobook as well. But no, I was reading the first couple of pages, and I wasn't like an avid reader at that time, but I was reading a couple of pages. I'd read it when I go to bed, and it was literally every single night I'd be reading, I'd be highlighting stuff, and like, this is absolutely amazing. This is so cool. And as you were saying, he's managed to pack all of this knowledge into this amount of pages, and he gives you the tips and stuff to get ahead. And as well, you reading the books is going to save you, if you want to pursue that road, it's going to save you so much time. It's just kind of, it's giving you gold, essentially, for the price of whatever a book is, like 12 quid for like 30 years of knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, like that
It's
book,
insane.
like Shoe Dog, is like, I swear, like, that's like his whole life story, isn't it? Just condensed into like one book. You can read it someone's whole life in like a book, like
It's
the
crazy.
best parts. It's super useful, man.
It is.
Super useful.
It's insane. And as well, there's obviously so many books out there. If you're interested in the topic, it's worth getting the book. It's worth getting the book. Just trying it out, even if you're not a reader. Just having the intention to kind of bet yourself on a topic is going to serve you well for the future anyway.
Yeah.
Would you say, if someone is listening to this and maybe isn't doing reading, maybe hasn't started improving themselves, would you say that's one of the best ways to start self-improvement, or are there some other aspects?
Yeah, I would say that. I'd say like that's the perfect complement between like doing new things and then like reading, because it's like you're trying
Hmm.
things for yourself, but then you're also getting other people's experiences. And honestly, like I was not like an avid reader like at all. Throughout school, like I read probably like one or two books over the course of like 6 years. Um, but then as
Hmm.
soon as you realize that you're not reading for pleasure, like you're reading for like to get yourself to somewhere, you're reading to make you more successful, to make you happier, whatever, like there's like more of a incentive to do it. And it doesn't have to,
Hmm.
you don't like, if you don't want to read, like you don't have to read it. You can get like the audiobook, like you said, or just as long as you have a way of getting that knowledge like into your head, like even if you just like read like four chapters, the four main chapters of like all the good books, like that's it. Don't read, no one's expecting you to read 300 pages a day, like but you can
Yeah,
sum of that up.
exactly.
Like once
But
you see
yeah.
what that does to your life, it's like a positive feedback loop. Read like the first book,
Yeah,
you see how much
exactly.
impact that's made you even better, then you go, okay, well, shit, if I read like 20 books like that, is that gonna make me 20 times better? Like it blows your mind.
Exactly, but it's again with TikTok and the glamorization kind of hustle culture
Mm.
and just doing a lot of stuff. You'll see people on TikTok that they're day in their lives and stuff. Oh, I've just read 5 books this morning. Now I'm on for like a 10-hour run and stupid stuff like that. And that's just it's silly, really. And it's just kind of even the intention just to say I'm going to read one
Mm.
page today and then
Yeah.
stop. It's just setting the wheel in motion that way.
Yeah, it's consistency. I mean, James Clear, the guy who wrote Atomic Habits, which is like a
Hmm.
super, one of these like
Yeah.
life-changing books. Like it's just about like the small improvement. Like if you improve yourself 1% every single day, you'll be 37 times a better person in like by the end of the year. Same
Exactly.
same thing with any habit that you have, like
Exactly.
whether that's reading or whatever. Like just it's better to read
Mm.
like one page a day than read like one book over the course of a week and then burn out and never read for like the rest of the year. Um,
Exactly. It's just about setting the intention and kind of setting the goals. Do you kind of have a framework to how you set goals, or is it just kind of I like the idea of this, I'm gonna kind of build my way up to it to achieve it?
Um, I do definitely. I like setting kind of like number goals, like that are quantifiable, and I can actually like see and be like, okay, I've reached this level. Like with my TikTok, I like saying, okay, I want to
Hmm.
reach 10,000, I want to reach like 20,000, I want to reach 50,000 followers. Like that to me is like a set goal, and with finances as well. I want to be
Mm.
this much invested in crypto. I want to have this much spare money so that if things go wrong, like I'm good. Um, so yeah, like I do
Yeah.
definitely set myself a lot of goals. I use like Notion. I just make myself like a sheet, like what it is
Hmm.
that I want to do by the end of the year. Like where do I want to be? Like and like where do I want to be in 5 years time and 10 years time, and kind of give me some perspective.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, just writing them down makes a big
Yeah, of
difference.
course. Mm. Yeah, I've had a couple of people previously on the podcast who were saying that writing down goals is a great way to have it. So just kind of somewhere you'll see it every day, just kind of remind you what you're actually working to and why you're
Mm,
working
mm,
towards it as well. Um, it's a
yeah,
very important
exactly.
thing to have. Right, so we've got a couple more questions, and we kind of round off with a big
Yeah,
overarching
cool.
question at the end. But so we're all talking about the self-improvement stuff, productivity, and all that. What do you personally think you need to work on?
Nice. What do I need to work on? Consistency is my main thing, I think. Like I said,
Hmm.
I mean, I think I've come a long way, but like, I think I still have much further to go. Like having that kind of laser focus, like on something, but over an extended period of time.
Hmm.
Like I'd like to see myself in a year and I'm still able to do the same thing. Because like I don't even recognize myself like a year ago, but that's partly because I just don't have the grit to kind of like level through things even when it gets
Mm,
tough. So yeah, I got to work on that definitely
yeah.
some more. How about you?
Oh, big question. Um, Personally, I'd obviously say I think the same consistency. I'm happy with myself that I'm putting out this podcast, but I'm putting myself out there. That was something that I did want to work on at the start of the year, because I've always had that kind of stuff in my head about that, and it's just doing stuff and kind of following it through and being consistent as much as you can be, and then stuff will follow on from there. Essentially, as soon as you get the ball rolling and stuff, you'll get going. Okay, we've got one more question. So would you say all the stuff you're doing now, is that contributing to making you happy? What kind of stuff makes you the happiest?
I'd say like helping other people, feeling like I think it really gives me a worth that I can like change other people. Because like I do this TikTok, but like predominantly it's just me speaking to my friends and people who ask for help. Like I have this thing where like people at my university could reach out to me for like financial advice, and seeing the difference in people, like, it was so lovely. So I think like being happy is like, it's like doing something which it takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of brain power and like engagement, but it's like creating like an end result. I think that will, like, what makes people happy is not just, I don't know, like doing something fun, like drinking, because like, if you go to a party, like you don't feel like you've earned it. It's that sense of like,
exactly.
I've created something and now I've got this reward, like the chase of it.
Yeah, which I think the emphasis of the chase and the journey to do it, like for example, the drinking thing is just a quick fix, like a quick shot of dopamine and stuff, and it's, again, you haven't earned it. It's just a quick fix and it's over just as fast as it lasted. Yeah, exactly. The chase of it and the journey of it is probably the best thing to go. So, got one last question. This doesn't have to be related to absolutely anything we've talked about. It could be completely off the cusp.
Right.
But if you could talk to the whole of the youth today, which is a lot of people, what advice would you give them?
If you don't like where you are and you know what you don't want to become, just like change it for something else. Like if you feel like you're just going down a conventional route and that's not the kind of lifestyle you want to live, change it now, because honestly, like spending an extra year doing something else, or like, dropping out of university 2 years in, is not the end of the world. Because you're changing your life now where you're young instead of when you're like a 40, 50-year-old person. Like, so you've got the time basically to do like whatever. So like, yeah.
Awesome.
Not very well articulated.
No, it's perfect, mate. Perfect. I got your point. So thank you so much, mate, for coming on. If people want to find you, whereabouts should we look?
I mean, my main platform, just TikTok, Lawrence Ong _. Yeah, find me there. If you want to message me, I've also got my email there, and that's about it.
Awesome, mate. I'll put that in.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having
no
me on
worries.
the podcast.
Yeah, no worries, Pat. I'll put it in the show notes below. Thank you, mate, for coming on.